So, Despicable Me 3. I'm going to try and keep this fairly brief because my reviews have, I've kind of noticed they've been getting a little bit long lately, and I'm not sure this film really deserves all that. So, I will start by saying what I thought of the other films in this series though. Despicable Me, I really like that one. I think that's a good film. I like all the characters, and it works well, and it's funny, and even the minions, I think they're alright. I think Despicable Me has the best use of minions I've seen. They work well as background characters, side characters, just a little funny moments here and there, comic relief, you know? So that's a good film. I give that a praise. Yeah, I give that a praise it. Despicable Me 2, I give a graze it to. It almost lives up to the first one. It's not quite as good. A little more. It's a little more minion. I think they started to realise that minions, what all the kids and idiots like about the Despicable Me films. So they just put more, and it begins to wear a little, especially with the evil minions. They're not pleasant. So that gets a grazer. It's still good. It's watchable. Minions, the film, is trash, and I hate it. I give that a blaze it. They should not have their own movie. I have been soured to Minions. I used to like them. I think after the first movie, everybody liked them. Maybe some people saw what they really were, but most people were cool with them. But then they just got oversaturated. The company realised how much money they could make, and do you remember, I think it was the summer of 2015, about when the Minions movie was coming out? You could not go through a full day without encountering at least one minion, unless you didn't go outside at all and didn't go on the internet. They were just everywhere, and that was the point where everyone really started to detest them, including me. I hate them now, and probably even the first film isn't as good, isn't as watchable now because of the minions and how they've been ruined. Small doses, please. So, Despicable Me, praise it. Despicable Me 2, graze it. Minions, blaze it. Those are my short reviews for those films. Minions are annoying. Despicable Me 3, I feel like they went, okay, let's kind of do what we've already been doing, but instead of just a few of the characters being annoying, let's have all of the characters be annoying. Not all of the time, but each character has to have at least one moment where you go, no one really acts like that. That's annoying. Everyone has to have their little annoying moment. At least one. Some of them have multiple. But it's not all bad. I mean, it's a passable movie. It's enjoyable. It's not as good as the second one, which wasn't as good as the first one. The first one I still like. That's a good one. And the second one, I like a little. I like a little as well. This one, it's alright. Because I feel like Illumination as a company is really lazy and cash grabby, and they just want, all they really care about is money, not art anymore. I feel like when they were making Despicable Me, I feel like they put work and like made it good. It seemed like they cared about that one. But nowadays, like Sing, did you see that? I didn't see it, but I watched I Hate Everything's review, I Hate Sing, and he really talks about the company Illumination as a whole in that, and how they're just really lazy and stuff. And you can see it watching the movies. You can see it. I saw The Secret Life of Pets. It's not good either. Well, these are all these notes I made after I'd seen the film. They made up a country where Gru's twin brother lives. A lot of movies make up countries, have fictional countries, you know. But it really felt like in this one they made up this country just so they didn't actually have to research any country in particular, because it was very European-ish. It seemed like it had culture, but like As in they'd just gone, let's just do vague, European-ish kind of culture. And also, the only really animals in this movie were pigs. When they first arrive in this country, on the landing strip is just full of pigs. And someone goes, why are there so many pigs? And the butler dude goes, it's a pig farm. I'm like, okay. And then Gru gets attacked by a pig. And that's just a throwaway slapstick gag where he gets attacked by a pig. It's not funny. And then, basically, any scene in this country, set in this country, where they would put an animal, whatever animal they would have put, they just exchanged it out for a pig. For example, there's someone walking across the road with a guide dog, except it's not a dog, it's a pig. So I feel like they just did that. They were like, oh, this country loves pigs, there's lots of it's just full of pigs. And they did that just so they didn't have to make new character models. That's really what it felt like. Because the pigs all looked really the same. It just felt lazy. The minions in the previous movies were part of the movie's plot. The minions in this movie, at the start, they go, alright, Gru, we've had enough. We want to go back to villainy. And Gru says no. So they say, alright, we quit. And they leave. And then basically, they just have scrap moments where you'll be watching the plot of the main film with Gru and the girls and stuff. And then we'll cut to the minions where they have a little thing. It's just two separate plots. One with Gru and his fam and one with the minions. And they come together at the end, sure, but not really. They just convene again. But it's just two separate things. The minions are just a bunch of scrats, as it were. That's... So basically, you could probably just edit them pretty much out of this movie, almost. Do it. One of the first things the minions do when they're scrap moments is go into like a filming lot and burst in on a singing competition. And then they enter the singing competition. Have a guess, quickly. Pause this video and have a guess what you think the singing competition was called. That's right, it was called Sing. You know, the movie that Illumination just made about a singing competition called Sing, and then there's a singing competition in this film called Sing. Is that like some kind of reference, or are you just so creatively dry that you just can't come up with new ideas, so you literally just have to put your old film in this one? Garbage! There's someone in this film who encounters a minion and goes, oh, you're cute. It's wrong.
That's just totally wrong. It's just like wrong. It's just wrong.
So when we have a
not
party,
true.
Who are you trying to kid? Who wrote that line? Are you lying to yourself, or are you trying to fool us into thinking they're cute just by saying, oh, you're cute, to a minion? Because, I tell you, we live in a world without minions, and most people think they're garbage, or who I encounter anyway, people who I talk to hate them, including myself. So, if there was a world in which minions did actually exist, I think people would be, you know, killing them. Maybe, I don't know if we go that far, because they're kind of sentient, but, like, there'd be laws. But people would hate them, they're annoying. They're not cute. Get out of here. Also, why were the minions still working for Gru up until the point where they quit at the start of this movie? Because I seem to remember in the Minions movie, it clearly stating that minions only exist to serve the most evil villain around. That was the entire plot of the Minions movie. So, as soon as Gru quit being a villain, like, at the end of the first film, the minions should have gone, alright, let's get out of here. They should be working for El Macchio in the second movie. He stole the minions. They should have willingly signed up, rather than helping Gru make jam or whatever. Spoiler alert, they do run away from Gru at the end of this movie and go join a different villain. But, so I'm glad they did that. Although I'm not really sure I can consider the Minions movie canon, because it's so garbage. And also, one of the minions, I'd say the main minion in this movie, the kind of the leader of the resistance, or whatever, I can't remember his name, but it's pretty arbitrary that the minions even have names. He has a flashback to when he had a load of good times with Gru. There were several good times he'd had with Gru. One of them was going fishing, just him and Gru going fishing. Like, how many minions are there? How much time does Gru have that he can spend quality time with each minion? Going fishing, that's a long activity, that's a day, isn't it, if you go fishing? But like, how well does he know each of these minions? How much time does he spend with them? He's got a job. He's a villain now. He's a secret agent. I feel like I'm thinking about these films more than the actual filmmakers themselves thought about them. Like, put some effort in, please. Dr. Nefario, I would argue, is probably one of the best characters in these movies. He's pretty funny. Guess who's not in this movie? It's Dr. Nefario. He's not in it at all. Like, apart from... Well, I'll tell you why. Gru goes, unfortunately, Dr. Nefario froze himself in carbonite. And then they cut to Dr. Nefario being frozen, and he's frozen into some carbonite. Minions are trying to get him out. I guess that's a Star Wars reference. But, like, he's still in carbonite at the end of the film. Alright. The villain of this movie, though... I say that quite loosely because I feel like all the characters are villains in these movies. But like the antagonist of this movie, Balthazar Brat, he was actually quite fun. He was good. He was fun to watch, enjoyable. They went very hard on the 80s. But I will say they stole the whole child star was really popular back along, but now he's not. But he still thinks he is the character from when he was a child star from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. They did that, didn't they? With Baby Brent. And it's the same initials. Balthazar Brat, Baby Brent. Do you think Illumination will one day have an original idea? And I think I noticed, I might be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I noticed at one point Balthazar Brat is holding one of his weapons, which is a keytar kind of thing, and it like blasts out sound waves, and he holds it this way, and then Gru steals it off him, and Gru holds it the other way, just because of how the scene's working. But I'm pretty like it switched over from being like left-handed to right-handed or right to left or something. I'm not entirely sure, but if that is true, get your act together. The final thing I've got written here is that at the end of this film, they teased a much better film that would have been, spoilers, if you want to watch it. Drew's been talking him into being a villain again, yes, and Gru's like, alright, but really they steal the diamond off Balthazar Brat, so Gru's never really going back to villainy in this film. He's just trying to get his job back. I'm not sure how he knows that Balthazar Brat's got the diamond though, because I'm pretty sure he went to Drew's house before Brat stole the diamond out of the French Museum, I think. But like, you know, at the end of the film, Drew like moves in with Gru or something, even though Drew's got like a mansion. Maybe he's just staying over. And then Gru's like, okay, good night. And then Drew's like, good night. And he's sleeping with the minions. Gru closes the door, and then Drew's like, okay, come on, minions, come on, guys, come on, let's go. And they go, and they steal Gru's plane, and they fly off. And Gru and Lucy see, and Lucy's like, alright, let's get him. And Gru's like, oh, hold on, he's my brother. Let's give him a 5-minute head start. And I was like, that's cool. Imagine that dynamic. Gru fighting Drew. That would have been a great movie. And Drew stole Gru's minions and his plane. Although I think if they'd have introduced Drew and he'd been the villain for this movie, it wouldn't have worked so well. I feel like we need to know who Drew is. So for a 4th movie, that'd be cool. I hope they don't make a 4th movie. But if they do, if it's not that, I'll be disappointed. Because that sounds really good. Of course they're going to make a 4th movie. How much money has this one made already? Let's find out. It's already made $200 million at the box office. How long has it been out? A couple of weeks. Yeah, make a lot of money. Are they making Minions? Are they making Minions 2? They are making Minions 2. But yeah, overall, it's an alright movie, but it's not fantastic. It's not a great sequel. It's passable. Watch it if you like the first two. If you like Minions, then, well, you're an idiot, so you'll like this. And I'm going to give this a Lazit, which is nice, breaking up the long string of praise-its I've had this year so far. Next, hopefully I'm going to see Spider-Man Homecoming. Very excited about that. I'd also like to see Baby Driver. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. Oh, I did ramble, and it did go on long. Whoops. I guess that's just who I am now. I talk for a long time about films. It's good that I've got more to say, though. I think the first reviews I started doing, I didn't really say much. I was like, oh yeah, I really liked it. It was good. It was fun. The acting was nice. But yeah, now I say more. I guess I know more. I'm learning. So yeah, tune in to my next review. Spider-Man, probably. Hey, it's Lester from the future. I've just finished editing this review. During the review, I talked about spoilers, and it only occurred to me afterwards that I could put spoiler zone on the screen. So people who don't want to get spoiled can easily identify which parts are spoilers and skip over those. And I'll do that for spoilers from now on in my reviews. Usually I leave them till the end, but sometimes they're in the flow of it and I just want to talk about something, so that's what I'll do from now on. What I mainly wanted to talk about, though, was something I talked about earlier with the keytar that switched positions. I wasn't sure if it actually did, so I looked it up. The only one I could find has been recorded off a cinema screen. Naughty.
You ruined everything, and now it's time to die.
You can see here the keytar is this way around. It's right-handed.
Game over.
But when Gru steals it, it's swapped. It's the other side. It's now a left-handed keytar. That's a mistake, or it's just Illumination being lazy. I think it's probably the latter. There's probably tons of stuff like this if you look really closely. I wanted this to be a brief review, but it turns out it's actually my longest one so far. So, subscribe and get hyped for Minions 2 coming 2020.